All right, today we are talking about how women are the perfect counterpart to men. I see a lot of stuff, with the red pill community and with all these types of things. There's always stuff going around somewhere. But currently it's like, hey, red pill, all this jazz, and there's men being what they call themselves incels, all these stupid, crazy things. And it's like, there's just so much hate going towards masculinity and also the feminine side, and like men attacking women, being like all women are bad. And we got the stuff over here where the women are also terrible and they're like doing stuff to the men because they think the men are horrible, and then it's like, oh well, all the women are bad, and so today we're going to clear some of that up, and we're going to talk about biblical masculinity in relationship with biblical femininity and what those things look like, because women are the perfect counterpart to men. Number one, God said that it's not good for man to be alone, right? What is the very first thing he did when he created Adam? He creates Adam, he gives him his jobs, and he says, it's not good for this guy to be alone here working in the garden by himself, right? It's not good for man to be alone. And so he takes Adam's rib, he puts Adam to sleep, he takes his rib out, and he turns the rib into a woman, and he presents the woman to Adam, and he's like, whoa, this is really cool. And God's like, Adam, Eve, Eve, Adam. And he gives them their jobs, and he creates this unity, right? And Adam right there gives us the definition of like a lot of different things. Like if you just read Genesis 3 and the beginnings, like Genesis 2, Genesis 3, there's so much in there when it comes to how men and women should be interacting biblically. But he says that it's not good for man to be alone. We need women. We need that support. And he didn't just make more men. He made a woman. And then they were able to make more men and women. We can't even reproduce without women, right? We need women. And it's not good for us to be alone without the companionship of women. We need that on this planet. Number two, God made women to support men, like we just said. But going farther, if you look at everything that a man does, right? Everything that men do, women don't do, and everything that women do, men don't do. Now you can do that and reverse the roles, right? And I'm not going to get into any of that kind of stuff here. But if you look at baseline, here's what men are doing and what women are doing, even when they're cursed by God and sent from the garden. It perfectly connects, and it creates a whole, right? There's only half over here, and there's only half over here. But when we connect them together, it becomes an entire whole unit and a whole circle. And then you can start having kids and all these cool, awesome things. So we need to, instead of hating on women and instead of being like, oh, all these things, or thinking that they're all terrible or having all these problems, we need to just sit back and look at like, okay, women are actually really cool. They were created by God to be, and not all of you will have this problem. Most of you probably don't. But for the few people that do, and so I can clarify for you when interacting with these people who do have this problem, it's awesome. They were made to be our counterpart and to actually be the ones that help us with our work, that help us in family. There's so many, like all these different aspects of life. They're the ones that are here helping and supporting us. And like I said, he didn't just make more men. God didn't just say, here are 5 other like Adams. We'll call these Seth, Tyson, James, Gerald, and John, or whatever. I don't know. He was like, this is Eve. And he made him Eve from the bone, which I'm sure you've heard before, right? But it's like we're supposed to be protective of the women, and then the women are supposed to also support and uplift us. So it's really cool. And it's a representation of Christ's relationship with the church. So men and women inside of marriage are saying like, as strongly as you are committed to and love your wife, men, that is how strongly and committed to the church Christ is. And it's really cool. And in the same way, we are just as strong and committed to Christ. And it's really awesome. It's just this perfect dynamic. And being able to see this puts so much clarity on, oh, this is how I'm supposed to interact with women and treat them and think about them, right? It's super fun. And I mean, as guys, we just really like women because we're supposed to. That's how God made us. Adam looked at Eve physically and he was like, whoa. But also, he loved who she was as a person. And I'm not sure that the Bible actually talks about that, but I can definitely assume that those two were really tight because they were the first married couple ever. So, this is an amazing duality and an amazing metaphor for how Christ loves the church and how he stays with us and how he's protective over us, right? He says that he's jealous for us. I mean, imagine if you had a girlfriend and some other guy started hitting on her. How would that make you feel? Really bad, right? Now, you are probably going to have to keep yourself composed and whatnot. You have to then also trust in her loyalty to you, because if she ends up doing that, wow, that's not cool. Sometimes people make mistakes, but if you're still dating, it's really good that that happened before you were married instead of after you were married. But let's just say that, like, can you imagine, there's so many other things that are always trying to pull us away from God in this world. And if you imagine those things as a guy who's hitting on your girlfriend, or even worse, your wife, you're going to feel terrible about that. That's awful, right? You want her to be like, what is she doing? What's she thinking? What is going on here? Like, you've always done the things that you're supposed to do, and you've been committed, and now this is happening. And so the hope for you is that she's not going to be led astray by this, but that she's going to actually have that commitment to you, right? That's what Christ wants for us. So that's just one example of how these are reflective of each other and why he made them the way that he did. But this one's super quick and super fast. I just thought it was so fun, and it's just a contemplation that I had, because it's a very small idea to think about quickly, but it's so massive, and it makes such a difference inside of how you end up thinking about things and how you end up thinking about other people, right? And being able to see this puts so much clarity on, oh, this is how I'm supposed to interact with women and treat them and think about them, right? It's super fun. And I mean, as guys, we just really like women because we're supposed to. That's how God made us. Adam looked at Eve physically and he was like, whoa. But also, he loved who she was as a person. And I'm not sure that the Bible actually talks about that, but I can definitely assume that those two were really tight because they were the first married couple ever. So obviously, like, they didn't have any other choices. But that's not my point here. Like, it's just so fun to think about. So I wanted to bring that to you guys, bring that thought to you guys, and just be like, women are the perfect counterpart for us men, and we need to treat them with respect and treat them with the love that they need to be treated with, and then they will treat us with the respect we need to be treated with if they're healthy women. And it's just an amazing duality, and it's an amazing cycle and relationship that God created on purpose, because he didn't put more men in the garden, he put Eve in the garden. So I hope that's cool. I hope that helps you guys and just is kind of encouraging for you and just kind of like fun to think about for a few minutes and helps you as you go on and interact with women, because it's not something we need to be scared of at all. We just need to remember we are men and they're women, and that's awesome. And so when you're dating, when you're going out, you're looking for your wife, you can look for the types of things that are going to be reflective of this relationship that Eve and Adam had together, and you'll be able to say, that's really cool. This is going to be a stable relationship going forward and in the future. So take that into your future, into your dating relationships. Just enjoy it, and I'll see you guys later.